Okay. Let's talk about Fuji. 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 Phuji. Fuji, right? Phuj. Yeah, crazy, right? I've used and tested every Fuji lens out there. Now, obviously, I'm a slut for prime lenses. Okay, I got a 14 millimeter here, a 16 millimeter, which is Fuji's best lens. Travel lenses. Now, I've got a couple of the 18 to 55, and it's a faster lens, obviously, than this 18 to 135. This is a 35 to 5.6, and that's a faster lens. The 18, I should have brought it out. I got two of them. The 18 to 50, which is the kit lens for the Fuji X-T1. Great lens, very well made, obviously highly recommended. This is one of the last Fuji, after trying and testing every Fuji lens made, and I have, this is one of the last lenses that I was going for. Actually, one of the last lenses I tested was, well, it's never any good, because nobody really conquers ultra-wides. They just don't. Nikon has in their 20 millimeter 1.8G, but wider than that, no. Well, this Fuji 16 millimeters is just absolutely the best lens that Fuji has, but I'm not going to talk about that in this video. The best travel lens, when, people say, oh, you got all those prime lenses and you're talking about a damn zoom lens. Yeah, but here's the trick of it. I have used a lot of damn prime lenses, and some of, Nikon's lenses like 18 to 300 these lenses suck. They're fuzzy at both ends. They're just huge beasts, and, we got to admit that this, from 18 to 135, this sticks out a little bit, right? Well, it's not that bad. It is incredibly well constructed. But once in a rare while, and it is actually very rare, and Fuji's been around for decades making lenses, there is actually a good zoom lens that someone that's experienced with lenses and knows what a good lens is and isn't, it's like, that's, as much as, I pray to the altar of prime lenses, if you will. There's a few, and there's really damn few, good zoom lenses. And the more I use this lens, the more it grows on me. I mean, I knew I wanted this lens, but it was the last one that I acquired. I've got 16 Fuji lenses now, and there aren't going to be any more, at least not until Fuji rolls out their 120 millimeter macro lens. And then I don't know. It's not out yet. I don't know if it's any damn good. But the 18 to 135 is, as much as I rated it like at 85% or so, I'm actually far, the more I use it, I knew I wanted it. I mean, it had to comprise my list since I used and tested all. This really is a lens that I would be traveling with, and I'm heading down to Florida and to Orlando here in a couple weeks, and this really is, I have to say now that, this is a must-own Fuji lens. I mean, I really do think that it is. And used prices on this lens, I see them for $500, $550. This really is outside of the parabola of where, ultra zoom lenses that cover a radical focal range. It's like any lens, and I've said this 1,000 times, and 99% of the time it's true. Lenses that cover radical focal ranges like 18 to 300, lenses like that are never very good. This doesn't cover a radical focal range like that, however. But this lens is really damn good. If you don't believe me, you can check out the Flickr page for this lens, the 18 to 135 Fuji. Fuji makes exquisite lenses. It's all metal construction. This lens, however, is made in China, not in Japan, like some of Fuji's primes or most Fuji lenses. But this lens really is exquisite, and I think it's absolutely exceptional. For what it is as a zoom, it really is in the absolute top 1/2 or 1/4 of 1% on zoom lenses, and that includes Nikon. God knows, I've used all the Nikon lenses and all their zooms, of course, and it's an incredible lens. So I actually can't speak highly enough, even much higher than when I first reviewed it and tested. It was like, I want that lens, but it's not on my top 10 list. Well, it's still on my top 10 list, even though I've got 15 or 16 Fuji lenses. It's exceptional. I know I need to cut to the chase. The 18 to 135 Fuji is exceptional. I absolutely love it, and the more I shoot with it, the more I'm I think that it's absolutely exceptional. If I were to travel overseas, which I would be, which I'd love to be doing recently, but I'm not, I would be taking this lens and like the 16 millimeter, and probably the 35. The 35 is really small. If I have weight and other restrictions with me, that I'm restricted even over my 55 to 200 Fuji, this really is the lens. I mean, it really is incredible. And it's very, very difficult for lens designers to pull off. I mean, it's nearly impossible to pull off a really good ultra zoom lens like this with this kind of focal range. It's not a radical focal range like 18 to 300 or 18 to 200, but it's still an enormous focal range. And Fuji did absolute A++ on this lens, and I really do think it is a must-own lens, and especially for traveling. But not even for traveling, just as a single pack-around lens. This lens in like a 35 millimeter or this lens in the 16 millimeter, this would be the lens if I'm only able to take two lenses where I've got restrictions. It's going to be this lens in a 35 or this lens in the 16 millimeter. So you should take a second look, or at least test drive the 18 to 135 Fuji, because it is exceptional. Thanks. Catch you later. Bye.